Hello, Beach City fans. It's Lee Kelson coming to you live from TechSource Global Summit, and I'm here with Hassan from Aristotle's Cafe. Did I get it right?
Yeah, you got it right. Yeah, you got it.
Cool. So we were just having a chat off camera about what you do, and really, really fascinating. I think there's some synergies in what we're doing at Beach City as well. But just for our viewers, can you give us a little bit of your background?
Yeah, so I am an American who had the chance to grow up with a very different culture. So my father's from Iran, my father's from Iran, my mom is American. So I grew up with Iranian culture, Jewish culture, and a big mix. And so throughout my life, I always realized that there's some differences between people. But if we sit down and have conversations that matter, we can really connect in a real way and in a way that helps people understand each other.
Yeah, right. That's cool. So I suppose one of the things we're talking about here is, the conversations that are happening at these types of events. And I feel that some parts of the world aren't having those conversations that need to be had. And then more importantly, when we're having, not everyone can get to this event, right? There's 20,000 people registered. So how important is it that people start to become part of these conversations but not just listening to it, but actually part of the conversation?
Yeah, I think we do a lot online now. I mean, it's a great format. It's a great way to spread that message. But I think people are really, in one way, people are really tired of just being behind a screen, not able to really be represented and speak up. And I think that leads to a lot of tensions, miscommunications, misunderstandings that don't need to be. And so I think really, for us, our goal is to create spaces, situations that create dynamic conversations that allow people that maybe are not normally heard to throw their idea into the floor, right? Like have themselves be listened to and have people that are nothing like them from a completely different background be on the other side. Because I think too, of course we can learn to stand up and speak up and public speak, but that's, I think, not always as valuable as being called out and saying, hey, I don't agree with that, right?
Yeah.
And having the chance to actually kind of wrestle with that a little bit, question yourself, question the other person, and go through that process together. Kind of, I mean, being human, right? It's about being human.
Yeah. I think the being human component, we get lost in all the technology, and that's a really important component, isn't it? After all, we're human beings. Yeah?
For sure, yes, yeah.
So tell us about Aristotle's Cafe and how that came about.
Yeah, so Aristotle's Cafe was something that I started when I was 18 years old. I had a little bit less gray hairs then, right. And I started at university. And
you're doing it right. You haven't got as many as I have.
Yeah, so I was young and we were looking for a way to create more learning outside the classroom environment, because sometimes you only have a certain amount of time. The teacher only wants to say certain things. So we decided to take it outside of there. Everyone writes down a question. It's about a group of 15 people. Write down any question you want, anything about any subject. Right. Then the facilitator, the person that's leading, will read them off, and the group will vote on which one they want to start with. So you might start with, what is love? What is success? Is technology helping or hurting the world? Right. Lots of great questions, and then the facilitator will only ask questions and let the group actually speak to each other, and they take themselves out of it.
Right. Okay, that's really interesting. So it's sort of a peer-to-peer environment. Interesting you touch on the education. It's one of my great passions. The education system was built in 1873. Is it built for today?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the real thing that we're seeing more and more now. I mean, this work that I do won award in experiential learning in 2011 for that idea of sharing and experiencing things and learning through that process. It creates mindfulness, critical thinking, creativity. And so I think more and more young people are wanting to take their education into their own hands. They can do that by learning a course online, or they can do it with the people that are just around them in their community.
Yeah. Man, we could go for 50 minutes, not 5 minutes on this. So I just want to touch on the idea of how important it is from a peer-to-peer perspective, rather than the idea of the sage on the stage, which is the traditional education model.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, we train our facilitators to be process experts. They are not knowledge experts. So facilitators for us can be young or old, doesn't matter, what they've been through, what education they have. They're really in charge of not being that sage on stage. They're actually in charge on flowing with the group, right. On creating an opportunity where assumptions are uncovered and learning through that process. And so I don't mind what background, how old, how young, what education you have. You can facilitate with the process that we have in place. And we train people on how to do that. And we also do that with an online course. So we connect these things together, and we use technology to create these discussions and to train these processes.
That's really cool. So if people want to know more about Aristotle's Cafe, where can they find you?
They can check out the website. They can go on Facebook. There's a Udemy course too. They can reach out to me at info@aristotelscafe.com. And we're really happy to be connected with anyone wherever they may be. And we're really happy to support them in creating these conversations.
Fantastic. Thanks very much for joining us today.
Thanks,
don't forget to keep watching Beach City for more live interviews, and also check out the promo code for True Digital Park. Amazing innovation hub. Have you been out there to the?
I have. Pretty beautiful.
It's amazing space. And check it out. There's a promo code there for a free trial up to the end of the month, I think it is. But make sure you click on the link, and we'll be back with more live interviews. Thanks very
so
much.
Yeah.
Cheers, man.